Every morning is an invitation to begin again, an invitation to shape not only the day ahead, but also the way you walk through life. When the sun rises, it does not ask permission to shine, it simply fulfills its purpose. In the same way, you too can begin each day with clarity, intention, and strength. Let us walk together through 10 affirmations. They are not magic words, they are reminders, gentle signals to your mind and heart of what you are capable of. I am the author of my life. When you wake each morning, you are presented with a blank page, untouched and waiting to be written upon. Yesterday has already been written, and no matter how heavy its story may feel, today allows for a new beginning. To claim authorship of your life means to accept that while you cannot always choose the circumstances you are born into, you can choose how you respond to them, how you interpret them, and how you allow them to shape you. Every thought you nurture and every action you take is a sentence in the book of your existence. Some may write passively, letting others hold the pen, while others awaken to the realization that they alone must craft their narrative with awareness and courage. To be the author of your life is to take responsibility. Responsibility for the directions you pursue, for the standards you set, and for the meaning you assign to the events around you. Life will not always present you with harmony or comfort. At times, storms will come. Yet even in the storm, you have the power to choose the story you tell yourself. One person may see only misfortune, while another may see a lesson in resilience, an opportunity for growth, or the sharpening of inner strength. Both stand in the rain, but the author within them writes two completely different realities. Each morning, remind yourself that the choices you make carry the weight of authorship. All decisions accumulate into paragraphs, into chapters, into the overarching story. To rise early and pursue discipline instead of ease is to write of perseverance. To speak with kindness instead of anger is to write of compassion. To remain steady in the face of challenge is to write of inner mastery. The narrative of your life is not only about what happens to you, but about who you become through it all. When you embrace the role of author, you stop blaming the past or the external world for your condition. Instead, you cultivate the ability to edit what no longer serves you and to add new lines filled with intention. An author does not simply copy what has already been written. They create, they invent, they imagine possibilities beyond the limits of what has been seen before. So too, you can look beyond the expectations placed upon you and decide that your life will unfold according to the vision you hold in your heart. It is not always easy to take the pen. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and the weight of uncertainty often cause people to hand the pen to others, society, circumstance, or habit. But when you reclaim it, when you decide that no one else has the right to dictate the meaning of your life, you experience a freedom that cannot be taken away. The pen may feel heavy at first, yet with each day of deliberate writing, it becomes lighter, and your story begins to reflect the truth of who you are and who you are becoming. I am grateful for this breath, this body, this day. Gratitude is the foundation upon which a meaningful life is built, and it begins with the simplest awareness, the breath that moves in and out of the body without demand, without condition. Each inhale is a reminder that life is still present, still flowing, still offering another chance. To be grateful for breath is to recognize the gift of being alive in this very moment, no matter what circumstances surround you. Breath is both fragile and powerful, easily overlooked yet essential to every experience you have. When you pause to notice it, to honor it, you anchor yourself in the truth that you are here, and that alone is enough to begin again with strength. Gratitude for the body is an acknowledgement of the vessel that carries you through this existence. It may not be perfect in appearance or free from discomfort, yet it is the body that allows you to walk, to work, to embrace, to see the world, to express yourself. When you see the body as a gift rather than as a burden, you begin to treat it with respect, nourishing it with care, moving it with intention, and listening to its signals. Gratitude transforms the way you inhabit yourself, turning criticism into acceptance and neglect into mindfulness. Every scar, every limitation, every strength becomes part of the unique story your body holds. Then comes the gratitude for the day itself. Each morning is an opportunity that countless others did not receive. The rising sun signals a new chance to act differently, to think more clearly, to love more deeply. Gratitude for the day means not taking time for granted, not waiting endlessly for the perfect moment, but realizing that the perfect moment is already here. When you wake with appreciation for the day ahead, you carry a mindset that allows you to see opportunities where others see only obstacles. Gratitude sharpens perception, showing you beauty in the ordinary and meaning in the smallest details. When gratitude is practiced sincerely, it changes the lens through which you experience life. Instead of focusing on what is missing, you begin to see what is present. Instead of dwelling on what is broken, you recognize what still works, what still supports you. This does not mean ignoring hardship or denying pain. Rather, it means holding both struggle and blessing together, acknowledging that even within difficulty, there are reasons to be thankful. Gratitude is a discipline of the mind, a deliberate choice to recognize abundance where scarcity once seemed to dominate. To say, "I'm grateful for this breath, this body, this day," is to ground yourself in reality. It is to see life not as something owed to you, but as something offered to you. It cultivates humility, reminding you that nothing is guaranteed, and yet so much has already been given. This simple affirmation has the power to shift your entire state of being, softening anger, quieting fear, and strengthening resilience. Through gratitude, the ordinary becomes sacred, and the present moment becomes enough. I am grateful for this breath, this body, this day. Gratitude is the foundation upon which a meaningful life is built, and it begins with the simplest awareness, the breath that moves in and out of the body without demand, without condition. Each inhale is a reminder that life is still present, still flowing, still offering another chance. To be grateful for breath is to recognize the gift of being alive in this very moment, no matter what circumstances surround you. Breath is both fragile and powerful, easily overlooked yet essential to every experience you have. When you pause to notice it, to honor it, you anchor yourself in the truth that you are here, and that alone is enough to begin again with strength. Gratitude for the body is an acknowledgement of the vessel that carries you through this existence. It may not be perfect in appearance or free from discomfort, yet it is the body that allows you to walk, to work, to embrace, to see the world, to express yourself. When you see the body as a gift rather than as a burden, you begin to treat it with respect, nourishing it with care, moving it with intention, and listening to its signals. Gratitude transforms the way you inhabit yourself, turning criticism into acceptance and neglect into mindfulness. Every scar, every limitation, every strength becomes part of the unique story your body holds. Then comes the gratitude for the day itself. Each morning is an opportunity that countless others did not receive. The rising sun signals a new chance to act differently, to think more clearly, to love more deeply. Gratitude for the day means not taking time for granted, not waiting endlessly for the perfect moment, but realizing that the perfect moment is already here. When you wake with appreciation for the day ahead, you carry a mindset that allows you to see opportunities where others see only obstacles. Gratitude sharpens perception, showing you beauty in the ordinary and meaning in the smallest details. When gratitude is practiced sincerely, it changes the lens through which you experience life. Instead of focusing on what is missing, you begin to see what is present. Instead of dwelling on what is broken, you recognize what still works, what still supports you. This does not mean ignoring hardship or denying pain. Rather, it means holding both struggle and blessing together, acknowledging that even within difficulty, there are reasons to be thankful. Gratitude is a discipline of the mind, a deliberate choice to recognize abundance where scarcity once seemed to dominate. To say, "I'm grateful for this breath, this body, this day," is to ground yourself in reality. It is to see life not as something owed to you, but as something offered to you. It cultivates humility, reminding you that nothing is guaranteed, and yet so much has already been given. This simple affirmation has the power to shift your entire state of being, softening anger, quieting fear, and strengthening resilience. Through gratitude, the ordinary becomes sacred, and the present moment becomes enough. I focus on progress, not perfection. Perfection is an illusion, a horizon that recedes no matter how far you walk toward it. Many people waste their energy chasing this unreachable ideal, comparing themselves to flawless images in their minds or in the world around them. This pursuit often leads not to growth, but to frustration and paralysis, because nothing ever feels enough. When the mind is trapped in perfection, it measures every step against an impossible standard, and in doing so, it loses sight of the quiet victories that shape real transformation. Progress, however, is tangible, measurable, and deeply human. It acknowledges effort, values consistency, and celebrates even the smallest steps forward. Progress is the art of improvement, the steady movement from what you were yesterday toward what you are capable of becoming tomorrow. When you focus on progress, you recognize that mastery is not built in a single day, but in the accumulation of days. It is found in the willingness to rise after each fall, to learn from each mistake, and to continue despite the imperfections. Progress is about momentum, about keeping the flow alive, no matter how slow or uneven it may feel. Each step taken with sincerity carries within it the power to reshape your path. Perfection demands immediate results, but progress honors the process. The process may be, I see challenges as training. Every obstacle that rises before you carries within it the potential to strengthen you, if only you choose to see it as such. When difficulties appear, the natural reaction is often resistance, frustration, or retreat, yet hidden beneath the surface of every challenge is an invitation to grow. Life has a way of shaping you not through ease, but through pressure. Just as the body develops strength by lifting weight, the mind and spirit develop resilience by confronting trials. Without resistance, there is no growth. Without discomfort, there is no expansion. To see challenges as training is to adopt a perspective that transforms hardship into opportunity. It means that instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What can this teach me?" With this shift in perspective, the weight of problems becomes lighter, because you recognize they are not punishments, but exercises designed to prepare you for greater things. Every moment of difficulty tests your patience, sharpens your discipline, and reveals the limits of your current capacity, only to show that those limits can be stretched further. Training requires repetition, consistency, and effort. Challenges often appear repeatedly in life, not because life is cruel, but because the lesson has not yet been fully absorbed. Each recurrence is another opportunity to strengthen what was once weak. Where impatience lived, you learn patience. Where doubt controlled you, you learn confidence. Where fear held you still, you learn courage. Just as a blade is sharpened by friction, your character is sharpened by the friction of life's demands. It is important to remember that training is not meant to break you, but to build you. When the challenge feels heavy, it is the same as when the body strains under the weight of exercise. It is uncomfortable, but it is forging strength that will remain long after the pain has passed. If you only ever face ease, you remain soft, untested, and unaware of your true abilities. Challenges reveal the depth of your inner reserves, the strength you did not know you possessed until life required it. When you embrace challenges as training, you no longer avoid them. You step into them with awareness, knowing they are shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable. A difficult conversation becomes training in communication and patience. A failed attempt becomes training in perseverance and humility. A period of uncertainty becomes training in trust and adaptability. Every form of struggle carries a lesson, and every lesson is a tool that prepares you for the next stage of your journey. To resist challenge is to resist growth, but to embrace it is to evolve. Life itself is the greatest teacher, and the challenges it places before you are the curriculum designed to refine your body, mind, and spirit. Through this lens, nothing is wasted, because everything you face becomes a part of your training, a step in the path of becoming stronger, and more complete. I protect my energy. Energy is the invisible currency of life, and where you spend it determines the quality of your existence. Every thought, every conversation, every environment either nourishes your energy or drains it. To protect your energy is to recognize its value and to take responsibility for where it flows. Many people give their energy away carelessly, consumed by negativity, distractions, or the demands of others. Over time, this leaves them depleted, unable to focus, unable to create, unable to rise. Protecting your energy is not about withdrawal from life, but about choosing with awareness what deserves your attention and what does not. The mind itself can be the greatest thief of energy. Worry about the future, regret about the past, endless comparisons, and inner criticism consume vitality without offering anything in return. When you protect your energy, you begin by observing your thoughts, asking whether they serve you or weaken you. By letting go of thoughts that do not contribute to your growth, you conserve strength for what truly matters. The discipline of directing the mind is one of the highest forms of protecting your energy, because when the mind is scattered, life itself becomes scattered. People too influence your energy deeply. Some bring clarity, encouragement, and peace, while others bring confusion, doubt, and heaviness. To protect your energy is to learn discernment, to recognize which connections uplift you and which connections drain you. It does not mean rejecting others with harshness, but it does mean setting boundaries with firmness. A clear boundary is not a wall. It is a way of honoring both yourself and others by choosing balance. When you surround yourself with those who respect your energy, you create a space where growth and joy can flourish. Environments are also powerful. The spaces you inhabit can either inspire or exhaust you. A cluttered space can cloud the mind, while a calm and ordered space can restore it. Nature, silence, and stillness have the power to replenish energy in ways that constant noise and distraction cannot. Protecting your energy requires awareness of the environments you enter and the ability to step away when they no longer serve your well-being. Protecting energy is also about the body. Sleep, nourishment, movement, and breath are direct sources of vitality. When ignored, the body becomes weak and the mind restless, leaving you vulnerable to exhaustion and imbalance. When cared for, the body becomes a strong foundation upon which the mind and spirit can thrive. Protecting your energy, therefore, means treating the body with respect, listening to its needs, and giving it what sustains rather than what depletes. Every day you are faced with countless choices: where to focus, who to engage with, how to spend your time. Each choice either adds to your energy or takes from it. By becoming conscious of these choices, you take control of your inner state. You begin to walk through life not as someone scattered and drained, but as someone centered, steady, and full of presence. The protection of energy is ultimately the protection of your ability to live with clarity and purpose, because without energy, even the greatest vision cannot come alive. I am capable of more than I imagine. The limits the mind sets are rarely the true limits of human potential. Often, they are simply boundaries shaped by fear, doubt, or past experiences. When you believe you have reached your edge, in reality, you have only touched the threshold of what is familiar. Beyond that threshold lies a vast field of untapped strength, creativity, and resilience waiting to be discovered. To remind yourself that you are capable of more than you imagine is to challenge the false ceiling your mind has constructed, and to recognize that growth often begins where comfort ends. The body demonstrates this truth clearly. In training, fatigue comes, and the mind says you cannot continue. Yet when you persist, you find hidden reserves of energy and endurance. The same applies to every area of life. Challenges often reveal abilities you never knew existed, but they can only be uncovered when you refuse to stop at the first sign of difficulty. The imagination tends to underestimate, while experience proves again and again that the human spirit can rise far beyond what it once believed possible. Every great achievement in history was once considered impossible until someone dared to test the boundary. What separates those who break barriers from those who remain behind is not superior ability, but a refusal to accept limitations as final. To say you are capable of more than you imagine is to declare that you will not let hesitation define your reality. It is to understand that potential is not fixed. It expands in direct proportion to the challenges you are willing to face. Doubt often disguises itself as truth. It whispers that you are not ready, not skilled enough, not strong enough. Yet doubt is rarely accurate. It is only the echo of past failures and fears. When you push beyond doubt, you discover that you are more adaptable, more resilient, and more resourceful than you realized. The mind is like a lens. If it narrows, your world appears small, but if it expands, possibilities multiply. By holding the belief that you are capable of more, you widen the lens, and life itself begins to open in new directions. This affirmation is not about blind confidence. It is about trust in your ability to learn, to adapt, and to endure. No one begins with mastery, but every master began as someone willing to step beyond what felt comfortable. Growth comes from entering the unknown, from attempting what seems difficult, from persisting when others give up. Each time you move forward despite uncertainty, you rewrite the story of what you thought was possible. Within you lies strength you have not yet drawn upon, creativity you have not yet expressed, and resilience you have not yet tested. To live with the awareness that you are capable of more is to approach life with curiosity instead of fear, with determination instead of hesitation. It transforms obstacles into invitations and expands your vision of who you are becoming. I turn discipline into freedom. At first, discipline appears to be restriction, a set of rules that bind you, a structure that limits your choices. Yet when practiced with consistency, discipline reveals itself to be the opposite. It is the very path to freedom. The undisciplined life may feel free on the surface, but it is ruled by impulses, distractions, and habits that slowly erode control. The disciplined life may feel demanding at first, but it creates clarity, strength, and mastery that allow you to live with greater independence. True freedom is not the absence of structure. It is the ability to direct yourself with purpose. When you choose discipline, you are choosing to master the small moments that shape your life. Waking when you said you would, training when the body resists, studying when the mind drifts. All of these acts of discipline build an inner strength that cannot be shaken easily. Without discipline, your energy scatters in every direction, pulled by desire and distraction. With discipline, your energy gathers into focus, and with focus comes the freedom to accomplish what once seemed unreachable. The chains of laziness and procrastination are far heavier than the structure of discipline because they trap you in regret and lost potential. Discipline creates habits, and habits shape identity. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, you are reinforcing the belief that you are in control of your life. Over time, these choices become natural, requiring less effort, because they transform into habits that support your growth automatically. This is the freedom that discipline brings, the freedom of no longer fighting endless battles with yourself, because you have trained your mind and body to act in alignment with your vision. What once felt difficult becomes effortless, and what once felt restrictive becomes empowering. Freedom through discipline also extends to the mind. A disciplined mind is not enslaved by every passing emotion or thought. It learns to observe without being consumed, to focus without being distracted, to endure without breaking. Such a mind is free to act with clarity instead of reacting with impulse. The person who has not trained their mind is at the mercy of fear, anger, or doubt, but the one who cultivates discipline gains the freedom to remain steady no matter the storm. Even in creativity, discipline plays its role. Many believe freedom in creativity means abandoning structure, yet some of the greatest works are born from disciplined practice. When you dedicate yourself to consistent effort, you create the conditions for inspiration to flow. The artist, the athlete, the thinker, all rely on discipline to unlock the deepest levels of their craft. Freedom in expression is built upon the foundation of discipline in preparation. To turn discipline into freedom is to recognize the deeper purpose of effort and self-control. It is to see that every act of discipline is not taking something away from you, but returning something to you: strength, clarity, mastery, and the ability to live by choice rather than by chance. In this way, discipline is no longer a burden but a gateway, transforming the structure of effort into the freedom of possibility. I align my actions with my purpose. Purpose is the compass that gives direction to life, yet without action, it remains only an idea, a silent intention that never takes form. Many people hold dreams within them, visions of what they wish to create or become, but their daily actions move in another direction, scattering energy and creating distance between who they are and who they long to be. To align action with purpose is to bring harmony between thought and deed, between intention and reality. It is the practice of making sure that each step you take carries you closer to what matters most. When actions are disconnected from purpose, life begins to feel fragmented and heavy. Energy is spent on things that do not nourish the spirit. Time is lost on pursuits that hold no meaning, and frustration grows because the heart knows it is not on the right path. But when you align your actions with your purpose, even the smallest task becomes significant because it is part of a greater journey. Washing the floor, training the body, speaking with kindness, or dedicating hours to your craft all become meaningful when they are connected to a deeper vision. Purpose transforms ordinary effort into sacred practice. This alignment requires clarity. To act in harmony with purpose, you must first understand what your purpose is, and this understanding often emerges through reflection and experience. Purpose is not always a grand or dramatic calling. Sometimes it is as simple as contributing positively to the lives of others, cultivating inner strength, or creating beauty through your work. Once you recognize your purpose, the challenge becomes translating it into action. Without this translation, purpose remains only a concept. With it, purpose becomes alive in every breath and movement. Discipline supports alignment. It ensures that your actions are not dictated solely by mood or impulse, but are guided by intention. There will be days when fatigue, distraction, or doubt tempt you to act against your purpose, but it is in those moments that alignment is tested and strengthened. To return again and again to the path, no matter how often you wander from it, is the essence of aligning action with purpose. Each return makes the connection stronger until eventually your way of living flows naturally in the direction of your deepest values. Alignment also brings peace. When you know that your actions are serving your purpose, you no longer need to compare yourself to others or measure yourself against external standards. The approval of the world loses its weight because you are guided by something greater than opinion. There is freedom in this because your worth is no longer dependent on shifting circumstances. Purpose steadies you and aligned action anchors you. Together, they create a life that feels coherent and whole. To align your actions with your purpose is to live intentionally. It is to make each choice with awareness of where it leads and to accept responsibility for the direction of your journey. It transforms life from a series of disconnected events into a path with meaning, and it ensures that when you look back, you will see not wasted motion, but a continuous thread of effort leading toward the vision that lives in your heart. I rise with the sun, and I rise within myself. Each morning the sun returns without fail, breaking through darkness and bringing light to the world once again. This daily rhythm is not only a movement of nature, but also a teaching. Just as the sun rises, so too can the human spirit rise, no matter how long the night has been. To rise with the sun is to align with the cycle of renewal, to understand that each day carries the chance to begin again, to stand taller, and to step forward with clarity. The rising sun is not concerned with yesterday's clouds, and in the same way, you can let go of what has passed and bring yourself fully into the present. Rising within yourself is the deeper practice. It means awakening not only the body, but also the mind and the spirit. Many people wake physically, but continue to sleep inwardly, moving through the day on habit and distraction without true awareness. To rise within yourself is to be fully conscious, to meet the day with presence rather than drifting through it. It is to remind yourself that you are not merely surviving time, but shaping it, infusing it with purpose through the choices you make. The morning holds a unique power because it sets the tone for everything that follows. When you rise with the sun, you begin by aligning with light, clarity, and intention. If you allow the morning to be filled with chaos, distraction, or delay, the entire day reflects that imbalance. But if you start with stillness, gratitude, and deliberate movement, the rest of the day carries that energy forward. Rising is not only about standing up from rest, it is about elevating yourself into a higher state of being. To rise within yourself also means overcoming the weight of doubt, fear, and inertia. Just as the night hides the landscape in shadow, the mind can hide your possibilities with uncertainty. But when you rise, when you bring a light to your thoughts, the shadows dissolve and you begin to see paths where none seemed visible before. Rising is an act of courage, an act of declaring that your inner fire will not be extinguished by the heaviness of circumstance. There is a discipline in rising with the sun. It requires you to resist the comfort of staying hidden beneath the covers, both literally and metaphorically. Comfort will always invite you to stay where you are, but rising demands that you meet the day actively. This discipline builds resilience because every morning you practice overcoming the pull of inertia. Over time, it becomes a habit that strengthens both body and spirit, reminding you daily that you have the power to begin anew. The rising sun shines not only for itself, but for the world around it. In the same way, when you rise within yourself, your light extends to others. Your presence becomes a source of inspiration, your actions a reflection of what it means to live awake. To rise with the sun is to join the rhythm of nature, and to rise within yourself is to join the rhythm of your highest potential, both working together to illuminate the path ahead.